Good morning. Welcome to February's Town Hall. Now, since we're having a little different kind of Town Hall meeting this month, I thought I'd do the safety minute a little differently too. Especially when I was sitting on the interstate going 2 miles an hour this morning. I thought I'm never going to make it there in time, so I'm going to try it this way. So here it goes. Have you ever been on an airplane when something went wrong? Or any place when something went wrong, and watched how people react to it? I had it happen a week ago Monday as I was sitting on this plane on the tarmac at Akron-Canton Airport getting ready to go to Charlotte. The man across the aisle from me, an older gentleman, was sitting there. I had my eyes closed, wasn't paying attention to much of anything, just waiting to have the flight take off, when I hear this kind of funny noise. And I open my eyes and I look over, in time to see his wife calling him by name. She's going, "Jay, Jay!" And she starts smacking his face and she's shaking him, and he's not reacting at all. For a minute I thought he was dead. I admit it. Well, she says something about needing help, and the flight attendant came forward, and then she grabs the mic and she calls and asks for any medical professionals on board. Well, as a first responder, I thought, okay, I'm going to try and help, but a lady stood up and said, oh, she was a nurse, and another guy stood up and said he was an EMT, and I thought, okay, they're more appropriate for this kind of thing than me with my first aid training. So I sat there and they came back to help the guy. To make a very long story short, I don't know what happened to him. He actually had 2 different attacks while we were sitting there. Both times he was gone. The second time, they could barely get a pulse on the man. I don't know what was wrong, but by the time we got back to the gate, the EMTs arrived from Jackson Township and they took him off the plane. He actually was awake and seemed pretty responsive. But what got me through the whole process was when the guy that was the EMT asked for the oxygen, the flight attendant wasn't even really sure where it was. When she got it, she didn't know how to open it up and turn it on. It probably took 2 minutes while this guy is sitting there suffering to breathe for them to figure out how to get this oxygen flowing for him. And that made me think about, do any of you know where our AED units are at? When we walk through the plant every day, we walk past stuff that we just become used to seeing, and pretty soon we don't see it. So I'm going to ask you all the question, where are both of our AEDs at in the plant? Now, you probably know one of them. It's right by the production office by the first aid kit. The second one's probably a little more difficult because many of you probably have never even been back in that area. But it's actually hanging on the wall at the corner, outside corner, of the warehouse shipping office, right at the base of the steps from the second floor offices. That's where you'd find it. Now, I mention it because even if you're not a first responder, there may be a time where a first responder asks you to go get the AED. So you need to know where it's at. You know, the amazing thing was, what I realized through this whole thing with this gentleman was, if those 2 people hadn't stood up, it would have been up to me to do something with him. Would I have known what to do? Would I have become flustered if the flight attendant didn't know how to turn the oxygen on? Would I know how to do it? So my challenge to all of you today is to take a minute, go see the AED. Don't take it out or anything. You don't need to do that, but just know where it's at. So if something ever happened and somebody asked you to grab it for them, you know where to find it. Now, I got to get back on that 2-mile-an-hour expressway and try to make it there before, I don't know, it's time to go home. Have fun eating the chili. I don't think you need to worry about having to have your stomach pumped later. But have a good time. I'll see you shortly, I hope.